I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're exploring a deeply personal and inspiring journey of faith, resilience, and finding purpose in the midst of pain. The name of the book, Towards Heaven, for Better and Worse. It is written by a terrific author. Her name is Anne Jorunn Syvertsen. In the book, she shares her experiences of living with chronic pain while discovering hope, faith, and new possibilities despite her limitations. If you're searching for encouragement and a new perspective on overcoming life's challenges, this book is a must read. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below the interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Anna, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. You ask whether pain has meaning in your book. Talk to us about how your journey has been shaped by understanding suffering.
I don't want anybody to go through what I am living with every day.
Mm.
Because when people have said to me sometimes, oh, you know what? I guess your pain has a meaning. There is something meaningful about how you hold the pain. You know what I would say? I would kind of just slap them in the face and say, no, I cannot see any meaning with living with chronic pain, but I can see a meaning through that,
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
yeah,
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely. So, how do you come to terms with the fact that you're burdened with this chronic pain when most people aren't? They're free to live their lives pain-free.
I had a condition in my knee when I was very young, and I kind of knew that eventually this would kind of catch up with me again, so that I will have pain. And my I had a very good plan here. My
Mm.
plan was that my pain could be like really hard to live with. When I was like 80, 85, or something like that, I
Mhm.
mean, that's
Yeah.
okay. Not when you're 42, not when you have a business that is blooming. I couldn't take more clients. I mean,
Mm.
everything was just, I was so thankful. It was so phenomenal. And then, like, just like that, God kind of wipes it away. In
Mm.
like a month, I was out of everything.
Mm.
I couldn't work. I had to close down my company. I couldn't do anything. We were prepared to sell the house because I couldn't live there.
Mm.
But then we were able to do some adjustments on the house and even get an elevator in the house because of my condition. And with all of that, I was starting to getting really angry with God.
Mhm.
I was really angry because then I even told him, I said, you know what, God, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. And you know what, actually, you know what, I said to God, I even said, I think you are making your life's biggest mistake by taking me out of everything that I'm in right now.
Mm.
And it was like God said to me, no, your job there is done. Your task there is done. I have something new for you. And I had to wait 7 more years, which is praying every day, like, show me, God, what it is. And God says, just wait. It's hard to
Mm.
wait. It's really hard to wait. But in this waiting process, God showed me that I was loved not because of everything I could do. I was loved not because I'd done so much great things, but because I am His most wonderful, cherished, perfect
Mm.
child.
Yeah.
And God loves me for who I am. Not because I have prayed so and so much, not because I read so and so much in the Bible. Like, on the contrary, but God showed me something about my real value. And that helped me
Yeah.
to be able to live on.
Yeah. You write in the book, you feel that when the world closed in on you, God opened up to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I was taken from being a tour guide and event travel agent planner, and we're all over the world. And then everything just closed in, like literally, it was closing in on me. And when I was prepared to live a life just within my house, it was like God said, you know what? I'm going to open the world for you.
Mm.
And I think that is maybe what these books can do because I can't travel everywhere anymore.
Mm.
But hopefully, that person who needs the confirmation and to need to know that God really does love you. I hope that person can hear this or see this or read the book and find that that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Because you
absolutely.
didn't do anything wrong. You don't believe too little. You don't believe wrong. You don't pray wrong. You're just forgetting that you're loved by God.
Mm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You had a thriving career as a tour guide. Tell us a little bit about that aspect of your life and what some of your most cherished memories are from that time.
You know, it still kind of takes me by surprise every time I think about. I have walked on the Great Wall in China
Mm.
many times. I
Wow.
have been there in the city. I have been up in Sears Tower in Chicago. I have been up in Empire State Building in New York. I have been at Niagara Falls. I even have in my office pieces of the wall in Berlin.
Mm.
I have been there so many times. I've seen like nooks and corners and the wide open countryside. And I felt so blessed because I was able to do it and I was able to actually also take with me Norwegian guests who I could share all of this with. It
Mm.
was amazing. And I was so grateful. And I was really saying to God, is this is everybody's dream to be able to do this. And from being up there on the highest mountain, feeling that you really are where you have everything right then and there. You're so lucky. You're so fortunate. And within just a month or two, everything is different.
Yeah.
That's really tough. That
Yeah.
is really hard. And it took me a long time to come to terms with
Yeah.
that is really the reality.
One of my friends is a physician, and he always says, "Be careful, life turns on a dime." And that always sticks with me, because it's true. You can have everything in the world, and if you don't have your health, I mean, it almost
Yeah,
sounds like something our mothers would say to us, but it's true.
yeah.
You can have everything in the world, but if you don't have your health, you know, you're really hard put, you know?
But now, when my health is declining and with so much pain, I have discovered something really new and something that I missed out on before. Like, Mr. Crawford, when you walk in the streets, have you noticed the asphalt?
Hmm.
I mean, that could. I mean, am I crazy? What am I asking? But yeah, I'm really asking. Have you noticed what the asphalt is like? And we think of that as something like monochrome, something very dull, something not worth even looking at. For me, sometimes my pain caused me to just stop then and there. I can't even take one more step.
Mm.
And there I was, looking down, and I saw the asphalt. I saw those little sparks of glitter. I saw those little black. I saw that little white. I saw that little gray. I saw this. It's a world of colors.
Mm.
And I never saw it before. And I think as long as I had my health, I took so much for granted.
Mm.
But now I have asked God to show me more than what meets my eye.
Yeah.
let me discover more, let me see more of those little moments in life, and let me cherish that. For example, um, my really good moment every day is this, my cup of coffee.
Exactly. Well, it's my favorite. The best part of waking up, they used to say, used to be a TV
It is.
commercial for coffee. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. I don't
Oh,
know about
I
Folgers, but a good cup of coffee.
a good cup of coffee can do wonders, and my husband makes me coffee every morning.
Yeah.
And I've sometimes said when my days are really so rough that I just sit in my chair and my because that's what's so hard with invisible pain. You can't see it. Sometimes I wished I had a cast or something that
Hmm.
was visible to people, but I don't. My pain is physical but invisible and so real. And sometimes I really just sit back in my chair and I just cry.
Yeah.
Not because people have been mean to me, not
Yeah.
because something has been said to me that was mean, but because my body is so full of pain that the body is crying on its own. And you know what? Even on such a day,
Mhm. Coffee helps.
it's really something that is good. And that's when I discovered in my life, no matter how much pain I have, there will always be something good.
Mm,
I want that to be an exclamation mark, not a question mark. I
exactly.
want my everyday, and sometimes my everyday life can be just knowing that in my window there is a rose.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not about, I don't need to walk the Great Wall of China anymore. I don't need to climb all those hills anymore. But I like and I need to know where my real value
Mm,
is. And
wonderful.
to
Well,
discover
that's a
that.
gift, no doubt, to know what is truly important in life. And like you said, that beautiful rose, that delicious cup of coffee, a moment spent with a loved one, those are the best moments in life when it all comes down to it. You've also seen a lot of beauty and done a lot of work with children. Tell us a little bit about that aspect of your life.
Oh, being blessed having my own children and now also being called in Norwegian, I would be called a mumo. That is the Norwegian word for a grandma.
Mhm.
And I've been working in church. I've been working with children my whole life, directing choirs, doing this. I have been a teacher at the Sunday school. I've always told stories, always wanted those kids to really grasp what it is about in the Bible because sometimes in the Bible there are really big words and
Mhm.
it's hard to understand all about that. And I I have always tried to tell those stories in a way that can be understood.
Mhm.
And with everything I do, I want to make myself understood with words that you can that you actually can think that, oh yes, I get it. Okay, I
Yeah.
get it. And and from there, I think was also when I started telling about this little angel whom I called Esther.
Mm. And that's a new book, right? Esther, God's Little Angel.
Yeah, that's a new book too.
Yeah.
So in just the last year, there were these two books coming out in English and also the same two in Norwegian. I
Mm.
everything I write both in Norwegian and in English. And
Wonderful.
Esther was this little angel, and he did not want Jesus to be born
Mm.
because, up there in heaven, everything is good, everything is fine, and God has told all the angels that Jesus is going to be born as a baby, placed in a manger in Bethlehem. He told the angels about the life of Jesus and how he is going to be crucified and die. And that's what Esther, she doesn't want that.
Mm.
So she has a good plan. If
Yeah.
Jesus is never born, he cannot suffer. So that was like, yes, I get it. But
Right.
she got it all wrong. And then Gabriel and Esther, they're sitting down on this silky cloud of floor up there in heaven, and Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, tries to let Esther see a little, like when they looked down at that manger where Jesus was going to be born. Esther even says, Gabriel, I see a cross in the shadow of the manger. Why is that? And that is when Gabriel says, Esther, you see, because the manger and the cross is connected. But if you look very carefully here, you will also see the beaming, shining, glorifying, beaming behind the cross, because the cross is not the end. The cross will be just one of the stops, but Jesus is going to be,
Wonderful.
you know how it is. Jesus is going to be resurrected. And that story, when like Esther is sort of present in some of the Bible stories from the New Testament, it has been very interesting and very encouraging to tell those for children here and realize that they do relate and they do kind of get it in a little way. And as Esther is telling in her story, when Jesus is feeding those 5,000 out in the desert, and this little boy comes there with his lunchbox and give that to Jesus. I mean, what if Jesus wanted to eat it just himself? Because he probably was very hungry. But Jesus, he thanks his Father in heaven for the food. And then he starts doing something that nobody could understand and explain. And then Esther says in the end, all of us learned a very important lesson that day. If we give what we have to Jesus, it will be enough.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Beautiful lessons for children, beautiful lessons for adults. Beautiful story. Wonderful. Wonderful indeed. Your life, in part, has also been that of a journalist. Tell us about that aspect of your life and when you began journalism.
I normally I would be sitting on your side, except I was in a radio studio. I have been a radio host with my own shows for years and years, and I even helped in 1982. Up until then, in Norway, we only had one TV channel and one radio channel. That
Wow.
was it. Then the come anytime, and local radio stations were allowed to come on the air. And I was in that position back then in 82 and 83 and up in the 80s, that I was traveling around Norway and helped setting up different Christian radio stations.
Wow.
And so there I had my own shows, and I did a lot from what songs have meant to us and what we can learn from all the different Christian songs. And I also realized that a lot of what keeps me going every day, that's the songs, is the lyric, is what we have been taught as children. And to go out there in Norway, helping building Christian radio stations, see that is thriving. And now there are a multitude of different radio stations, TV channels, and all of that, we have it. And just in a couple of years, I mean, we've gotten from like zero to a lot. And to be able to be, I mean, on what, it doesn't matter what end of the camera or mic we sit on.
Right.
What I like people to know, for me, you know what? I have never had an urge to have my name on a book. That's not important whatsoever. It is not important. It is not important that people know who I am. But for me, it's important that people know that God really loves them. And they are not taken out of God's love. And when you deal with pain and you think you're doing everything wrong, I think that is when God wraps his arms
Yeah.
around us a little tighter and says, my child, I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
And if just one person can find encouragement and the confirmation that Jesus really stays every single day, every kind of day. And when we hurt, I think he is closer than we maybe realize.
Mm. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's going to make a lot of big difference in a lot of people's lives, knowing that faith can sustain them, that they can have meaning and purpose in their life despite their challenges. I think it's all very, very important work that you've done with this book. You also explore the concept of heaven in the book. Tell us a little bit about that aspect of the book.
I can't wait to come to heaven. And one thing, I hope there are stairs in heaven because I'm gonna run them up and down the whole time because that's what's hard for me right now.
Yeah.
But sometimes people have said to me that, oh, okay, yes, you believe in a heaven just because that will make you feel good.
Mm.
Oh, you are just delusional. You think that if you believe in a heaven, it's going to be good for you just to see everything through. But it's a fantasy, right? It's a fantasy. It doesn't exist.
Mm.
But for me, I believe that the Bible is true. I believe that what Jesus told us is true. So I do believe in a heaven. I know there is something there when I take my last steps of pain here on earth, my old body with all my pain. I'm not going to take that with me to heaven. In heaven and in Revelation and in the Bible, there are we've been told different things about what we can expect in heaven. He says, streets of gold. I don't need streets of gold. I just know I'm gonna walk again.
Yeah.
And he says there are walls with jaspers and sapphires and all those gemstones. You know, for me, heaven is a place where we never hurt again. And in heaven, well, yes, I do cry a lot because my pain is so severe.
Mm.
But in heaven, there will be no more pain and no more tears because God Himself has promised to wipe away, my
Mm.
last
Yeah.
tear. And if heaven is only that, everything else just has to be a bonus
Mm.
because that would be a place where Jesus is
Yeah.
and where everything is good. And I am on my way towards heaven.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but one day I will be.
Yeah.
And for now, it is for better and for worse. One day,
Yeah.
everything will be good. But until then, I still will have some stony paths to go on.
Yeah.
But God, I feel what He gives me. He's not taking all those stony paths away from me and all those hurt away from me. But He gives me shoes so solid that I still can walk those stony paths. And that's what I like to continue doing.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's the promise of the Lord Jesus Christ, eternal life, paradise, heaven. And I think if we live our lives according to the right values, along the right path, we're all headed to heaven. And that's wonderful. And we know that there's not emptiness at the end of this life, that there is healing, that there is love, that there is hope. Looking back on your life, what's the most significant lesson you've learned, and what do you hope readers take away?
I hope that they will know that we who, for some reason, I mean, there are not always a reason for why you have some kind of limitation in your life, whether it is sorrow, pain, physical, mental. There is something that limits us in our everyday life. And I just hope that the viewers or the readers or those who are listening to this, that they will know that they are not alone. First of all, I'm living this life every day. I really do want that it could be over. I mean, I would love my pain to end, but it seems like it's not going to happen here on earth, and I'm okay with it because I know Jesus has promised to sustain me every step of the way. And as long as he does that, I don't like being in pain, but it's okay because I've kind of seen that I can still live a meaningful life. I can still have a good life. I just have a very different life.
Yeah.
And on my way towards heaven, there is so much beauty. There is so much wonderful. And we just need to discover that. But most of all, I want people to know that Jesus really stays every day because I know it. He hasn't failed me 1 minute, not even 1 minute. And I trust my life on that, that he's going to lead me every step of the way, all the way, all the way home to heaven.
Wonderful. Well, you've got a wonderful faith and it's palpable, and we appreciate you sharing it with us today and the audience. If you're looking for a book that offers faith, encouragement, and a powerful perspective on resilience, the name of the book you should be looking for is called Towards Heaven, for Better and Worse. It is an inspiring read, and it is highly recommended by the Spotlight Network. Anna, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been a wonderful time.
Wonderful speaking to you. I appreciate your insights. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.